Shri Guru Charitra, Epilogue. Lessons of Wisdom from Nature. It will be of interest here to know that Lord Dattatreya says that we will have to, however, learn initially the lessons of wisdom from nature herself, who is the best teacher. He cites his own example to illustrate this truth and tells us from who he had learned and what each of them teaches us. 1. Earth. Symbol of forbearance, Titiksha. The earth teaches us the virtue of forbearance, endurance, by its own supreme example. It bears with unmatched and unexcelled patience all the injuries we inflict upon it, and furthermore, it does only good to us, always by providing crops, fruits, etc. It looks after our very sustenance, in spite of our doing so much harm and injury to it. 2. Water. The symbol of purity. Water teaches us the quality of purity. Further, it cleanses and purifies whosoever and whatsoever comes into contact with it. Like water, we should be ever pure, getting rid of lust, greed, anger, ego, jealousy, selfishness, and such unspiritual traits and demonic qualities, and should endeavor to exert a similar purifying influence on others too. 3. Air. The symbol of non-attachment. Air moves freely anywhere and everywhere, but it does not get attached to any place or object. We too thus should imbibe the virtue of non-attachment. 4. Sky. The symbol of untarnished personality. The air, the clouds, the star, the moon, and the sun all have their habitation in the sky, yet the sky remains apart from them all. From this we learn that though the self, our true and real personality and being, looks to be in conjunction and mixed up with our body-mind complex, it is in fact always apart and remains alone, untarnished and ever pure, Keval. We should not therefore get mixed up and bound by the upadhis, adjuncts and the superimpositions on our true self, that is on our true being. 5. Fire. The symbol of spiritual wisdom. Fire teaches us that we should always remain bright and be ever aglow with knowledge and awareness of the self, of our innate divine nature and potential. 6. Moon. The symbol of intrinsic immutability, though appearing as constantly changing. The moon is ever full, but appears to be waxing and waning due to the shadow of the earth falling upon it and eclipsing its full form. Likewise, our Atman also, which in truth is ever the same and changeless, appears to be indiscriminate, to be changing and undergoing all sorts of modifications, which actually only the upadhis, that is the physical adjuncts, the superimpositions on the Atman are undergoing, but not the self itself. 7. Sun. The symbol of the one self in all, Ekatma. The one sun, when reflected in many pots of water, appears as many. So also, the one Brahman appears manifold by its reflection in so many bodies and forms. Atman, which is Brahman, is always indeed one only. 8. Pair of pigeons. The perils of attachment. There was once a pigeon couple and their little ones. One day, the young ones got caught in the net of a fowler. Due to attachment to the young ones, the mother pigeon also flew after them and got caught in the net. Due to the attachment to the female pigeon, the male pigeon also flew near there and met with the same fate. Thus, all of them fell prey to the fowler. Attachment leads to one's own ruin. 9. Python. The symbol of contentment. Just as the python does not move about for its food but lies in one place only, content with whatever it gets, so also the wise should learn to be content with whatever providence provides for them. 10. Ocean. The symbol of equanimity. Hundreds of rivers will be flowing into it, but the ocean remains unmoved. Thus, whatever may come and happen in our lives, we should always maintain our equipoise. 11. Bees. The evil of avarice. Taking great pains, the bees collect and store the honey. But alas, the honey gatherer comes and takes it all away. Similarly, man struggles all his life for amassing and hoarding wealth. And then, death, which may knock him down any time, deprives him of all. That is, if he has not been deprived of it by others in the meanwhile. The snares of senses, which is sound, touch, sight, taste, and smell, are illustrated in the following examples from 12 to 16. 12. Musk deer. The musk deer is a slave to the sense of sound, ear. The hunter entices it away by playing music and it gets caught in his trap. 13. Elephant. The elephant is a slave to the sense of touch. The male elephant, driven by lust, falls into a pit attracted by a dummy female elephant put there as a trap by the elephant catchers. 14. Moth. The moth is a slave to the sense of sight, eye. Attracted by the brilliance of fire, it flies right into it and gets burned to death. 15. Fish. The fish is a slave to the sense of taste, tongue. Coveting food, it bites the bait and is caught and meets its end. 16. Black bee. The black bee is a slave to the sense of smell, nose. Attracted by the fragrance of flower, it hops from flower to flower and gets stuck in the petals and dies. These examples teach that if we yield ourselves to the lures of the senses, we are doomed. But if we can restrain our senses, we will be saved. We have seen that enslavement to one sense alone has caused such havoc in the above instances. Man has all 5 senses, and if he pampers them, alas, what doom will he be meeting? 17. The dancing girl. Pingala, the virtue of desirelessness. One night Pingala was tired of looking for customers and felt disappointed and worried. But she thought, why not remain content with what I have? With this thought, instantly, a sense of peace came over her. It is desire that brings and breeds worry. Contentment, desirelessness, and abandonment of hope always endows peace and true happiness. 18. The raven. The evil of clinging to possessions. Once a raven picked up a piece of flesh. It was pursued and hurt by other birds. But when in desperation she dropped the piece of flesh, all the chasing birds left her, and then she felt completely relieved and was happy. It is our possessions which we hug to, and that is the cause of all our miseries. 19. The child. The virtue of prapatti, that is total reliance on God. The suckling child is free from worries and is cheerful, as his mother takes total care of him. Let us also leave ourselves through self-surrender to the care of God. 20. The girl from a poor household. The virtue of cultivating loneliness. Once suddenly, a party visited the house of a poor man for the purpose of negotiating alliance with his daughter for their boy. It happened that the girl was alone at that time in the house, her parents having gone to another place on some work. The girl herself had to therefore prepare the food for the guests. She started pounding the rice grains. As she had only glass bangles on her wrists, they were making much noise while she was doing the pounding. Afraid that the noise will only expose their poverty to the guests, she started removing the bangles one by one, but retaining just 2 on each wrist. But these 2 continued making some noise. Then she removed one more bangle from each wrist, leaving only 1 bangle on each wrist. Lo, there was no further noise. The spiritual aspirant, especially the ascetic, will have to learn to live alone in solitude so as to avoid strife and discord with any. 21. The serpent. The virtue of unconcern for self-possessions. The serpent does not build his own abode. It lives in holes already built by other creatures. So also spiritual aspirants, especially ascetics, will have to spend their days in caves and temples already existing, but should not try and waste their lives in building houses and homes. 22. The arrow maker. The virtue of one-pointedness. Once an arrow maker was so absorbed in his work of sharpening and straightening an arrow that he did not notice even the king and his big retinue passing by. Later, when the minister of the king came and asked him in which direction the king and his party went, alas, he had to plead his ignorance. For achieving perfection in anything, one should have single minded dedication in what one does. 23. The Spider. Our desire infested mind alone is the cause of our bondage. The spider pours out of its mouth long threads and labors to weave our webs, but unfortunately gets stuck up in its own web. Likewise, man also builds with his desires his own bondage and forfeits his freedom. 24. The Bhringi. As the mind thinks, so one becomes. The Bhringi Brahmara beetle catches hold of a worm and throws it into a mud nest. The worm is all the time worried that the beetle is going to come and sting it, and thus its attention is all the time anxiously focused on the beetle sitting outside the opening of the nest. With its mind thus constantly focused on the form of the Brahmara, it soon gets metamorphized into a Brahmara, shedding out its ugly worm body. As one thinks, so he becomes. If we constantly think of God, we too will become divine for sure. Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha.